Hi, this is Jacqueline here with the Grow Program. Thank you for growing with me on today. God bless you as you grow. God bless you as you sow. God bless you each and every day as you grow for a better way. Here we grow in God. I was reading about, just doing some little research and different things, and came upon an article about the children who were being bullied in school. 10-year-old child suicide because of racial bullying. And the administrators in the school did nothing about her parents' complaints. And now they have lost their child. I also noticed that in the high school, the children are fed up. They're fed up with lack of accountability. No one is doing anything. Look, watch these children. We can learn a lot from watching children. When they play, they just run out there and they just start playing on the playground. You got children in the high school who have taken a stand, who have decided they've had enough. They are not going to sit and watch while their classmates be bullied and harassed because of their skin color. They decided to walk out and protest. And now the administrators and teachers are sitting there, really looking silly. Because why haven't you done anything about what is going on in this school? You got a child who can walk in the bathroom, use the bathroom, and see kill all ends across the wall. That's what they're supposed to look at. School is supposed to be a place of safety. It's not anymore. School has become a place of discrimination. You even got schools discriminating against children. If they can't afford to eat, they are isolated. They are shunned. They are stamped on the hand. They're given a cheese sandwich, peanut butter sandwich. Honey, I'm going to tell you something. It didn't happen with my child. I would have went up there. It didn't happen with my child, but I hear about, and read about different things that where it's going on at. Discrimination. Discriminate is to hate. Hate, discriminate. So you choose to discriminate. You get all these federal dollars, but you mean to tell me that you can't make this place a safe place for a child to come and learn? A place free from hate and discriminate. School, since they've taken God out of school, is full of fools. Since they've taken God out of school, it's full of fools. They don't want to teach the correct, they don't want to teach the correct history. They want to teach you some foolishness. They don't want to tell you the truth. They want to wipe out the history, just how everybody got here. Okay, well, we got to grow. So I'm going to tell you how everybody got here. Okay, first, the Indians were here. About 10 million Indians here in America. And then Columbus said he discovered it. He got here. He discovered America. Okay, he discovered it. So then when he discovered it, they decided they discovered it. They came over here and they needed some help to build it up. So they started enslaving the Indians. Well, the Indians knew the land and the Indians could escape. And, and they got away and they started getting sick and they started dying and they was killing them, and wiping them out. And that's why it's not that many Indians left. So, they needed some help. They went over there and they found this gold. And when they found the gold, they found these people, these dark-skinned people. They can't get away. They can do what we tell them to do. I'm going to tell you something. When our ancestors got, where they got, when they got wherever they took them to, they took them all over the world to build up the world. But when they got, when the ships docked in Virginia, when the ships docked here in America, Our ancestors couldn't speak English. They couldn't read and write. They didn't know anything about Jesus, and the ships, the slave traders, they used religion to control. They use religion as a form, a method of control, a way to control the people. And the Christian church ordained slavery. And there went the transatlantic slave trade all over the world to build up the world. And the motherland is suffering. So when someone tells someone of a dark skin color to go back to Africa, you're really telling yourself, go back to Africa. 'Cause look, we all came from Africa. All human life began in Africa. And to say anything different, you're speaking out of ignorance. You don't know. African Americans have contributed a lot to this world. African Americans have contributed a lot to this world. People think that they're just something to be hated and something to despise, something, a part animal, which what we were called. We were 3/5 human. We weren't even real, part animal, part this, part that. I even have people look at me crazy. I mean, we in 2021. I go deliver your food. You snatch your food out of my hand. You look at me crazy because I show up to, here I am, bring you your food. It's crazy. And then on top of that, look at this. We got a clown show up in the United States Senate. You got a senator up there who just tweeted out a video of the president and another congresswoman being killed. He ain't gonna do it, but he put it out there just to give somebody some ideas. That's why he did it. And there is no accountability. There is no accountability. No one legally can threaten the president of the United States, but he did, and there's nothing done about it. No one can sit up and say or pretend or act like they want to do something to a president, and they will be arrested immediately. That's a threat. But a United States congressman did it. Put all differences aside. Put your differences aside. Agree to disagree. You are here for a purpose. You were voted into office, for the people. You wasn't voted into office to tweet out videos of killing the president and killing somebody you disagree with, somebody you don't like. You may not like them, but you got to work with them. How many of us have went to work with people that we don't like? You don't like them, but you got to work with them. You got to deal with them. You're going to work together for the company. The company is the people. You work together for the common good. That's what you there for. You're not there to tweet out videos and act stupid. You're not there for that, but that's what he up there doing. That's what they paying him to do right now. That is what Paul Gozer is up there being paid to do right now, because that's what he doing. Kevin McCarthy ain't said nothing about it, so it's okay. Kevin McCarthy has not said a word, so it's okay. See, this is what you voted in there. I ain't voted nothing, because see, I'm in this world and I'm not of this world. I held my ballot. I was going to vote in this last presidential election. I still got my ballot in the car. I never turned it in. I said, what for? What's the point? This is just some crazy mess going on. I'm nothing. I'm not Democrat nor Republican. I'm in this world. I'm not of this world, transformed by a renewing of my mind. These holidays, different things don't mean nothing to me. Halloween is celebrating evil, and you're going to rot the kids' teeth out with candy. Years and years and years of Halloween, eating candy. That's going to give them cavities. You can't pay my grandbaby. He don't eat no candy. He had cavities. From eating that Halloween candy. He ate cavities. So, we don't even do Halloween no more. We don't do no holidays. Christmas is love. Christmas is every day. They get stuff every day. They get stuff all the time. Not just on one day. I'm not going out there and try to break myself and rip and run in them crowds and bumping into people and people going crazy, people fighting over TV, different stuff, honey. I ain't being a part of that chaos, negativity, and drama. No, I don't bring any more chaos, negativity, and drama on me that's already on me. I don't deal with it no more. So, these holidays mean nothing to me. These holidays didn't mean anything to my ancestors. They don't mean nothing to me. What means something to me is freeing us from oppression, is moving forward in this world. Us coming from a divided nation to a united nation. And that's one nation under God. That's all of us. That's the whole world. Look at all this oppression going on all around us. Look at all this evil. You got a television crew went specifically to Afghanistan to watch a man come and pick up a little girl and take her off to marry. Okay, but this news crew didn't step in and say, oh, wait a minute. No, you can't do this. We're not going to have this. Matter of fact, here, let me pay to help this family so you don't have to do this. No, they did it for the ratings. They did it to put on there, shock value. Well, it sure shocked me. It shocked me enough to get up and say something about it because I shudder every time I think about that little girl. She was out there playing with her little friends until her husband showed up. And when he showed up and he took her, she pulling away from don't want to go with 9 years old. How do you live with yourself, CNN? That's oppression. And CNN is part of the oppression. They all are. Who is out there doing something about it? Who is out there to make a difference? We know what's going on. CNN, you didn't have to show us that. We know what's going on. But what are you doing to stop it? Where is the accountability? While we got kids in the high school, can't even go to school. We got a 10-year-old. Now her family is preparing a funeral because she was harassed in school. She's just going to get an education. She harassed in school because of her skin color. Her skin color. But at the same time, it's coming from the top. That's what they seeing. In the United States Congress, that's what they seeing. It's okay to hate and discriminate. You got the lawyer stood there and said he don't want no more black pastors coming up in there. He didn't say I don't want any more pastors. I don't want any more black pastors coming in here. That's what he told the judge. Where is the accountability? You got two lives lost, one life messed up for life. So it's 3 lives. And then there go another, the shooter. 4 lives messed up. Where is the accountability? She went on TV and said he'd do it again, his mama. So basically, she's saying she'd drop him off to do it again. That wasn't none of their property that they're down there saying they're down there defending. That's what they said that he went down there for. Okay, let me get off that. Because, there is a judge that we all gonna face, honey. There is a judge for the judge. There is a judge that we're all going to face. Racism is a deeply planted seed. It's been planted for a long time. It's still blossoming, but at the same time, it's also dying. Because I can look at one part of the world as I'm ministering on Facebook. I go down, I see these videos. I go down there, it's babies, a lot of babies, and I love babies. I go down there and see the videos of the babies, and it's funny and cute, and some of it wind up being TikTok. So, I go on there and I sow love. I sow love everywhere I grow. And I'm looking and seeing these families, these mixed families and, multicultural families and, families that Caucasian, African, Indian, Native American, all kind of families, But you look up here at the government who don't represent the people. This government don't represent the people, and the people moving on without the government, just moving on, living their lives. But you got folks up here who can't even come together for the common good of the people. That's what it's for. You are here to come together Put your differences aside. Pass these bills, get these things done so the world can move on and we can grow forward. We are going from a divided nation to a united nation. It don't matter who you are, your status of wealth. We are all affected by oppression. You have a young man just graduated with a master's degree, walking home, 24 years old. He was killed. All the robber wanted was his phone, money, whatever he had. He shot him and killed him. 18 years old. He had already stole a car and he was looking for somebody to rob and found this young man walking down the street. The oppression affects us all. All races are critical. It doesn't matter your status of wealth. You can be bothering no one. You can be minding your own business. And here comes oppression coming right at you and took his life. And he gone. So there go 2 more lives failed by oppression. Oppression is all you just walk out your door and there go oppression, right there. Trouble will come and find you. And once you get in trouble, it's hard to get out of trouble. So now we got a 18-year-old life that's gone. Okay, people, what we got to do, it takes a village to raise a child. We are the villagers, and we need to come together. We need to come together for tomorrow, today. You see what they doing up there in Congress. They can't even come together and get these bills passed, get what needs to be done. Now it's time for us to grow. It's time for us to rise. It's time for us to sow. God is moving over this earth. Evil is going to and fro, seeking whom it may devour. Oppression is all around us. There's no such thing as white supremacy. There's no such thing as white supremacy. We all came from Africa. All human life came from Africa. That's what they're going to find out. They're going to find out the truth. They so worried about critical race theory, don't want to tell them what happened, don't want to tell them no history. Scratch all the history books. They ain't going to know this. They ain't going to know that. White is supreme. Ain't nobody supreme, honey. God is supreme. That's who's supreme. And in the end, while you down here getting yours, in the end, you got to go face the real judge. It's a real judge you got to go look at. You got to give an account to. You don't give an account in this life. You're going to give an account in the next life when you leave here, because you got to leave. We all leaving here, and we all got to give an account. What you need to do is try to get it together now, today. Straighten up. You can't go nowhere. You can't do nothing. You got a Illinois senator who's coming home, him and his wife, somebody in the car next to them just firing shots up in the air. Oppression is all around us. He said they could have just as well shot them. Just like that. There go oppression. It affects us all. It doesn't matter your status or wealth. Another senator out of California robbed. The oppression affects us all. We can't sit by and do nothing. Just like those children. Those children say we done had enough of this racism and bullying. If you don't do nothing, we gonna do something. We gonna take a stand and say that we're tired of it. Administrators, we ready for you to do something. A child has lost her life. Children afraid to go to school. The racism and hatred and oppression has to end. Love, not hate, will make the world great. We gonna drive the hate up out of here. We gonna drive it out and make the world great. We gonna grow. I watched a documentary some years ago on a young man. And as I was watching this documentary, I was very, very happy. I didn't listen to, I don't listen to rap music. I'm not a rap fan per se. Some of it I listen to, but I have listened to, but I don't really, it's become so negative. And they were sitting there. I watched this documentary on this young man, and I was very happy for him. I was excited for him. Coming up out of Florida, I was very happy for him and his mother. And yesterday, sitting at the gas station, I heard this song. And they were playing it. They were sitting in a sports car. Tinted windows rolled up. I couldn't see who was in there, but I heard the song, Murder on My Mind. And I'm like, listening to it. And I went and looked up the lyrics. And it was the young man who I had documentary I watched some years ago, Y.N.W. Melly. And I had heard, that he got caught up for murder. And in this song, we put murder on my mind, and I read those lyrics, it read like a confession to me. He said he didn't do it. Here he detailed it. He said he didn't do it. The people said he did it. He locked up for it, and he gonna go down for it. So, look like he going down, So as they playing the music in the car, they roll the windows down. It was two teenagers. Two Caucasian teenagers, they sitting in there, they just laughing, they had it blasting loud. What he's saying he getting ready to do, and see, this is the influence that we are putting over our children. Oppression on top of oppression. It has to end. Parents, we need to get our children. We need to get our children, and we need to get in their heads. We need to talk to them, find out what's going on. All races are critical. Now, there go 3 lives lost. I'm telling you, it's all around us. There go 3 lives lost. He said he didn't do it, but 2 dead. 2 people are gone. He said he didn't do it. The people said he did. Sad day and time we living in. But at the same time, let's turn over here. We growing. We're going to focus on the solution. We're going to focus on God. We're going to keep growing for God. We're going to keep sowing and growing. I'm going to tell you something. Evil ain't going to quit. Evil going to keep going to and fro. And God is sitting high and looking low. So in the meantime, we got to go forth for God's kingdom building purposes. We got to grow. We got to sow. We got to move. We got to rise. We got to link up, lock up. I'm telling you, over this oppression. We got to grow over it. Greatness reached over our oppression through wisdom. That's how we going to do it. We going to grow all over the world. These days, these times, God is moving. It's a new world. A tide is turning like a new season for a new reason. We're growing. Rise, kings and queens.